Good morning and happy Wednesday to each of you. We are recording a little bit earlier this week, but because, of course, Thanksgiving is tomorrow. And so we wanted to make sure that we connected with you all before the holidays. So good morning again. I am Iris D. Owens, your host. And on the line with me is my beautiful sister and co-host. Good morning, honey bunny.
Good morning, honey bunny. Stephanie Deani Green. Good morning, everyone.
How are you today?
I am fabulous.
we know
I'm so
that
happy.
part.
I'm so
We
happy.
know
I'm going to
that
get a mammogram.
part. Well, we are going to jump right in. We are not going to hold you long, as the pastor would say. But today, we just want to really focus on being grateful, being thankful, being covered, and being blessed. So that's where we're going to live today because, of course, tomorrow is Thanksgiving and around the world, everyone will be celebrating this lovely day. But every day is Thanksgiving, really,
Exactly.
truly. Every day that you get the opportunity to wake up, right? To open your eyes, to walk across the floor, and prayerfully you woke up with a roof and four walls and a floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
there is food to eat, there is clothing for you, and that you are in good health mentally and physically. And that doesn't mean there are no challenges. We're just talking about the gratefulness of being able to wake up every day and being thankful. So that's where we're going to live today. And so we're both, I think what we're going to do is we're just going to share what we're thankful for. So Steph, I'll let you kick this off today.
Well, I'm so thankful because literally this time last year, um, well, probably like, yeah, it was this day last year. I had just come home from the emergency room. And like this year, I'm nowhere near emergency room, and
Amen.
and as you know, it was downward spiral from there. But yes, so I was quite weak. I really couldn't cook anything, and
Mhm.
and we didn't do anything that was high in COVID. We're still in COVID though,
Right.
and so I am so thankful now. And my daughter's coming home, so I'm so
Yes.
happy to see her and her little dog Dash, and
Right.
my
Correct
son,
that because it's really not your dog, it's her dog.
no, it's really, she's one of them to begin with. She's had him since she was
Right.
11 years old. So she
Right.
still has a little Dash. It's like she grew up with him too. And, my son, he's not coming home. He decided him and his girlfriend meet halfway in Chicago. So he called me early this morning there. He already landed. He's in Chicago. And there,
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm excited. He made that like a little adult decision and we're gonna do this and we're gonna rent an
Yes.
Airbnb and we're gonna make Thanksgiving dinner. I'm like, that's a beautiful thing.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
look
So
at
I'm
that.
yeah, definitely thankful for my new home.
Yes.
Yes, yes. That's like, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
You ask and it is given. And that is really the truth.
That is the truth. That is the truth. And I, like Steph, I am thankful for life. I'm thankful for, you know, as we always say, if you've listened and you tuned in with us, that we always talk about how our lives mirror one another. And
They do.
so last month, I had a near death experience, literally
Mhm. Yeah.
being stung by something, ended up in the ambulance on my way to the hospital. And so had a little stay at the hospital. But that was also, a great moment to make me realize, like people always say, I saw my life flash in front of me. I'm not going to say I saw my life flash in front of me, though I realized how quickly your life can be altered.
Hmm.
And not that I didn't know that before, but when things happen to you like that at an
Yeah.
instant, right? Really, like they say, a blink of an eye, that your whole
Hmm.
world changes, all the
Yeah.
plans that you made and you thought you were going to do. And these things, I had all these plans for the rest of that day. I had done a run that day, a 5K, the first one I've done in the last, since COVID. But that's always an eye opener. And despite the fact that it has been a very challenging 20 months for everyone, not just some of us, for
Mhm.
everyone. Even if we
Absolutely.
even if we want to think that, oh, I wasn't affected, everyone has been affected.
Oh,
by this
absolutely.
pandemic, some way, one way or another, or in many ways or another, right? And so
Well,
it
every
has
single
made me,
person's life has
oh,
changed. Absolutely.
absolutely, forever. And so I'm
Yes.
thankful for the fact that, like I said, for health, for the ability to wake up with, with my family, with my friends, with Steph, with my other friends, people who are really, they're not friends, they are family. I don't really have friends. Friends are people, I think you kind of, more for me now at this point in life, friends are more associates, right? My true connections are with people
Mhm.
who are family to me. I trust them with my life, right? They trust me with their life. If something is wrong, we are there from one another. So I'm thankful for support. I'm thankful for having people in your life who will be there for you in the good and the bad, right? No judgment. If you pick up the phone and say, I need help, there are not 1,000 questions as what do you need help for? Or
Mhm,
I'm
mhm,
sorry, I
mhm,
can't, I'm sorry, I can't help you
mhm,
on that. There's just
mhm.
been so much to be thankful for. Thankful for the fact that both of us are entrepreneurs and that we have still been able to successfully prosper this year in our business. That's a big deal
Oh,
because
yes, it is.
there have
It's
been
the age of the entrepreneur.
there have been so many people who, if not just people, but businesses that have been around for years,
Mhm.
right? Small businesses were very, very much affected by this entire
Mhm.
pandemic, and some large businesses, right? We all had
Yes,
loss this year,
absolutely.
but I'm thankful for the gains that there were this year,
Mhm.
meeting new clients and having new clients and allowing people, for clients just to allow us and to trust us enough to say, I'm going to trust you and I'm going to move forward and trying to either sell my house or buy a house this year or
Mhm.
last year was pretty amazing. Um, I'm thankful that my mom is here, thankful
Yes, that's a
for,
blessing.
yeah, thankful for my children, right? And like you said, Steph, to see them in their adulting, right? Them maturing and
I know.
making
I
these life
know.
decisions, about what
I
course am I
know.
taking, what am I doing, I'm changing my major. But the fact is that they're adulting, they're making real live adult decisions and they process and they're thinking about it. That's a blessing to have, to see the children that you brought into the world, that they are now coming
Mhm.
into their own. That's just an amazing thing, you know. Um,
It
thankful that
really is. Man,
thank
it graduates already in May.
look at that, right? And that seemed like she just went to school, right? It's crazy.
Mhm.
And
I know.
I'm like you, Steph. I'm thankful for my new home. Thankful for the place that I drive up to every day, and the place where I
It's
rest and
beautiful too.
find my peace, find my peace and find my solace in just being alive and being happy. So I'm I guess what I also want to remind people is that even the things that didn't go right or don't go right, there's still a reason to be thankful. And I
Oh,
know
absolutely.
sometimes that sounds hard, right? Because
Mhm.
in your life, when things go wrong, when things don't go the way you expected them, or you don't get the things that you want, or something goes so terribly out of sort that you don't even know how you're going to come back from it or how you're going to recover from it, there is still a reason to be thankful. And that's what living is really all about, is finding the
Mhm.
joy in everything, right? Even after you've had
Which is true.
sorrow, right? Because life
Mhm.
is joy. Life is, Frankie Beverly's song says joy and pain. That is life. um you can't have a life filled with just all joy. You can't have a life filled with all pain. There is a combination of all the things that happen in life is what makes life um intriguing, makes it exciting, makes it, sometimes up, sometimes down, but even as, almost level to the ground. But the fact is that you get back up, right? You rise back up, however that is for you. And so we always have to remember that. And I think that's really important. Steph.
But I don't think that. I don't think that life is. I probably do think that. I think that life is, even with everything. I do think life is all joy. I mean, I think that the pain is, you get that, but you have to get, you got to turn that pain into joy. That's why I guess I would say that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you have to, like for me, I know, when I'm feeling a certain kind of way, I need to like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, a bee is in my house. Your
Uh-oh.
favorite friend. Yeah,
Duh.
I don't know how you
Yeah,
come
that's
here.
not fun.
That's not fun. Oh my
No.
God. Oh, but anyway, I would do something to bring the joy back. Like,
Right.
let me watch this funny movie. Let me change my mood. And
Right.
that's what it is about changing your mood. Oh my God. Let me see. Let me open this door, see if I get him out. Oh
Okay.
my God.
See, this is what happens on live radio, right? This bee is in
Come
Steph's
on,
house, and that bee has to leave.
come on. Oh, oh, come back, come back. Got him out.
He was escorted to the door.
Yes, he was. I was trying to get out because he's at the window. I was like, if I get him out of this door, he will get
Right.
out.
Absolutely.
But what I just like, I do think that a lot of people don't know how to get out of the pain. And
Mm.
that's important. You have to learn how to get out of the pain, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, because when you live in pain, you get so much more of that. So you got to pull yourself out of the pain so you can get more of the joy, and
Right.
not live in the pain. And whatever
Right.
that takes. And sometimes it takes like, walking in the park, those things that maybe make you happy, or the funniest movie ever. Let me watch this funny movie. Like even certain movies, like I just don't watch, or I have to prepare myself to watch them because I'm well aware sometimes what some people do for my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Or I have to say, I am not ready for that. Or I don't even want
Right.
to put that in my spirit. And we have to be careful about that. When you monitor the things that you put into your spirit and the things that you see and the certain people that you're around, and you feel like, how do I feel when I'm around this person? How do I feel when I watch this? You
Mm-hmm.
know, because if it's something always dampening your spirits, it's nothing good about that, because you definitely want your spirits uplifted, whatever that may take. You enjoy uplifting by reading your Bible and everything like that. You need to know what's going on in the world, but to inundate yourself with all the news all the time. Years ago, I learned from Oprah Winfrey. She was like, I just don't watch the news because it's so depressing. And it
Mm-hmm.
is a way to control you. People don't realize it, to make you feel like, oh my God, the world is falling apart. We're going to die tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst thing ever. And it's a way to make you scared, you know. It's a way to make you give up all your freedom, which we have done. But it's a tactic to that. And when people live in that space, you get to see the difference because you look at some people like, wow, it doesn't like anything affected them, and it did, but they didn't live in that space. They were able to
Right.
move out of that space. And I
Right.
mean, it's not always easy, but when you learn how to do it, your life is so much more sweeter. You
Right.
have to like, it's like, oh my God, you're late for a meeting. All of a sudden you got your flat tire. Oh my God, and then you have to like switch that. Okay, I may be saved from a car accident or something of that nature. It was a good reason I had this flat tire. Excuse me. Or some things that just happen, like, oh, why did this person love me? Why didn't it work out? God is saving you from yourself. Some of these things back, if you're like as old as, I'm 57, like 30 years ago, you're just like devastated. Now, 30 years later, you're like, oh, thank you, Jesus. You look at this person, what happened to their life. You realize God did save you from yourself.
Right.
You
But
just,
in that same vein, there is, yes, I would agree with you that you have to learn how to get out of pain. But there is a reason for pain. Pain is a pain
oh,
is
yeah, so you can know joy.
pain
Yeah,
is a
I mean,
stimulator. Pain,
of
just the
course.
way joy is a stimulator, but it's
Yeah.
also, you have to learn how to work through your pain, but you also
Mhm,
have to identify the pain. And see,
mhm,
sometimes when we when we want to live as if everything is joyful, sometimes that's when you see someone crashes and burn, or people all of a sudden do something so unthinkable, right?
Mhm.
They commit suicide, they kill their family, they just do something so that you would like, what? Like that person was always so peaceful, so joyful. So yeah, something, I feel
Yeah,
like
that's why you have to
pain
definitely work through it though. You
pain is a
can't ignore it.
pain is a motivator, but you have to be able to, first you have to accept that there is pain.
Mhm.
Then you have to realize, how do I work through this pain? Then you have to give the pain the opportunity, and give yourself the opportunity to identify, make a plan for it, how you work through it, how you live through it. Because there are things that happen in our life that sometimes it rocks your world so hard, you don't even have the capacity to understand, how do I move forward now? You just really don't.
Yeah.
You have no idea, how am I going to do this? How am I going to move forward? How am I going to, change this that I have seen?
How it
Um,
changes dynamic.
it does. And so it is in that space sometimes that we get lost, because I can't even process what has happened. I mean, you think about a person who loses a child, right? For most parents, that is one of the most devastating, right, event that could happen in life. Or even the children that you haven't met yet, that you were pregnant and you unfortunately had a miscarriage, right? And there have been said that sometimes a miscarriage may be, as you're saying, could be saving you from something, or maybe the baby wasn't going to develop well, but still, in a human mind, that doesn't process that way, right?
Oh no,
it's
that's
just it's
pain, you know.
it's just processed as pain, and you have to deal with it. You got to work through it. You got to figure out, how do I move on from here? And this is where, we're talking about now about trauma, but this is where most people don't move out of that space, because they don't do anything to move themselves out of the space, i.e., going to talk to someone, right? Talking to someone other than your family, or talking to a good friend, or even talking to yourself. Because normally when we're in negative situations, what do? We talk negative to ourselves about ourselves, right? And
That's
we
the
blame
worst.
ourselves for everything that happens, even though we really had no control over it. Many times we blame ourselves for the things that have happened that we had no control over. And we think because we were involved, we had control. But there are some things that we had no control over. Because honestly, think about it. If we did, we would never allow those things to happen.
No,
you know
no.
so it is learning how to work through the pain, learning how to get on the other side of it. And even though there are some things that will never probably not hurt, but you have to learn how to work through it, get on the other side of it, and then learn how to process it, so that when it comes up, you have a way to handle it and to deal with it, and that it doesn't steal your joy. It doesn't steal, you know, your everyday living and your being. But that's
I
hard
think
to
you
do.
I think that you really don't, certain things I don't think you really ever get over. You know, like my sister who's 2 years older than me,
Mm-hmm.
her son was murdered,
Mm-hmm.
and right, it was like a couple of days before Mother's Day. And it's like 4 years ago, 5 years ago
Yes.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's only 21 years old, and it was very, very sad.
Yes.
And I have several women that I have, my aunt, she's buried two of her children. We have a
Yes.
family friend last year, her daughter, 19 years old, died. And it's like, I think that you learn to, like, you have to switch that pain to, like, I had that person for however many years I had them. I loved them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and because that's a hard pill when you're
It
talking about
is.
burying children. My little cousin
Absolutely.
just buried his son, and he's like never forgotten. And basically he was, how long has it been? I think it's been a year now that Bo has passed. And he had like a room dedicated to him in his house. And I was like, wow, how is that going to do for you? Is that going to make you feel better? But it's something he needed to do.
Right.
And one day he was in the room, and basically some told him to go buy a lottery ticket. And he went, bought a lottery ticket and won $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
His son sent him that. And
Mm-hmm.
he knows his son sent
Yeah.
him that, you know. And he has other children, and and he was able, to do certain things for his children, and give a scholarship in his son's name. I mean, he's done a lot of things. I guess like because they're all like military men, but it was really, really sad. But then that's what came out of that situation, and
Right.
him in the room spending time with his son, go
Right.
buy a lottery ticket, win $10 million, which is like wow,
And
you
and
know.
that and so that's what I mean. You have to process through, but you have to be open to whatever that
Mhm,
processing is. And then many
mhm,
times we get stuck only in the pain part. And
mhm,
so that's what I'm
mhm.
saying. You have to be thankful even for the painful parts of life, because there is something to gain from it. It,
Yeah,
it
they
doesn't
don't kill
seem
you.
it doesn't seem that way when it's happening and when you're going
No.
through it, but when you come out on the other side of it, you do realize that there is a lesson and a blessing in everything that happens. And a lot of times we never realize what the lesson was. Sometimes we
Mhm.
don't get the lesson, but there's always a blessing. And so I feel like that's what I'm saying. Being thankful, thankfulness is part of gratitude, and gratitude is just
Oh, yes,
having,
absolutely.
gratitude is just being grateful, right?
Mhm.
It's like when we talk about God's faithfulness toward us, you have to be grateful for God's gratitude toward us, because we did nothing to deserve it.
Nope.
And yet we are thankful for God. But many times, what do? We turn our backs on God. We do stuff that we know
Yeah,
we have no right to do.
yeah.
And then
Yes, it's
and then
true.
sometimes we go to God and we be like, oh my God, if you get me out of this, God, I promise you I will not do this. And then there are other times that we walk this way from God, and we turn our back and we keep it moving, because now we feel we're so deep into whatever this is that we have gone into, this hole that we've taken ourselves into, that
Mhm.
certainly God is not going to be willing to take me back again. But that's the one great thing about gratefulness, about
Exactly, exactly.
God's faithfulness to us, is that no matter what happens, he doesn't move. Even
Mhm,
when
got your
we
back.
move, yeah,
Has
he
your
has
back
your back.
always.
He has
Mhm.
your back, your front, your side, the
Yeah.
top, the bottom. So that's what I'm saying about gratefulness. And even like for me, there's some things that have gone on this week, and Steph knows, we've talked about it. And it's like, I'm not mad about it. And I'm definitely not ungrateful about it. But I'm in my head, right? In my head, I have to keep processing, like, why? Why? Right? But then
Uh-huh.
on the same, right as I'm saying the why, I'm thanking God for everything. Because
Exactly.
without him,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I cannot,
Exactly.
you know? And so I'm very grateful, very thankful. And it's a daily reminder, minute by minute. This is why your relationship with yourself and with God, even though we're not preaching to you, but I'm a Christian, I believe in God. Steph is a Christian, she believes in God. So that's the only place
Absolutely.
we can speak from. I can't speak
Yeah.
about
Uh-huh.
anything else, because I know in my life that there have been times, as we would say, that I should have been dead, I should have been gone, I should.
Absolutely.
But
And you're
thank
still here.
God for his faithfulness towards me, because I know that I have been places, I've been with people, I have done things that I should not, right? But I'm grateful for God's faithfulness towards me. And I'm so thankful for being covered, for being blessed in God's grace. And
Yeah.
so you can't be thankful without being thankful to someone, right? And so it's just like Steph and I started this podcast because of all of our conversations over the many years that we have had in the 26 years that we have known each other. Thankful to Steph for being open to say, let's do this. But we were on the phone one day and we both said it at the same time. We should start a podcast.
Well, that was after like I think that my second
Right, your
hospital,
second hospital
my
stay.
second stint.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, I was like, oh, like that's we were just talking. He was like, what is going on with you? I don't know if he was saying that to me. I'm like, oh, I
I
don't know.
have
And
no
at this
idea.
point, this second time, I saw the light, and I promised God, if you bring me back, I will I will be better. I will be so
Right,
much better. And
right.
and do so much better with because what it was all of those things, like we're saying, being thankful, but it was a lot of things that were bothering me.
There's a lot
A
of
lot of things
pain.
for my, yeah, a
There's a
lot
lot
of
of
pain,
pressure.
a lot of stuff, and even things that were still affecting me, like from my childhood. And I was like, oh my God. And then this has been the way I said, like, let's do a podcast. And then we can, I mean, I'm sure our stories can we share that we can help other people,
Right,
and how you can move through and come out on the other side,
right,
really, literally smelling like a rose, and and it's
right,
okay. And I
right.
think that with that whole, I mean, because literally when I could feel them smack me in my face. It's like she won't wake up, she won't wake up, and I'm saying no, I'm awake, but no one can hear me
Mm,
because I was, no one can hear me, and I was like, okay. And it's so funny that at the same time, I wasn't scared. Um, I was just like, because I felt so peaceful.
mm-hmm.
I wasn't in pain. I was in so much peace. And I was like, okay, so let me just talk to God. I can't worry about these people trying to wake me up. I'm just talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I just told him, I said, if you bring me back, I don't know where I am, what it is, I'll be good. I'm just going to be better. Not, just take care. My babies they're not adults, almost adults. And,
Right,
but I was good with it, to be honest with you.
right.
And when I finally woke up in ICU, I couldn't talk. And I was telling them like, what happened? Why wouldn't I wake up? You know? And they were like, what are you talking about? And it was the weirdest thing. But I tell you, these people smacking my face. She won't wake up. She won't wake up. And I see all this. I see nothing but whiteness. That's all I saw.
And
Yeah,
so in saying all of that, this is what I'm saying is like life is transitional, right? It's ever evolving, right?
it is. It's
And the
true.
resiliency of you in those moments, whatever was transpiring right there, where your spirit and God was having a serious moment together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when my mom once said she had that experience where she saw a light, right? And she could hear, but she was not what people would say conscious. Like she wasn't
Mm-hmm.
talking to anyone, but she was having a conversation. So she wasn't having a conversation with the people who and the doctors and the nurses in the room, right? And we've all had that, had that moment where you see that light. Not all, but some of us have had that moment where you see that light and you're saying
Sure.
to yourself, oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, I've died. I have literally died. I think that's a really good example of when we're talking about our relationship with God, where you have to die to self. Because most times when people have that type of relationship or that type of experience, I should say, where you have left your body or you have an out of body experience, when you recover and you come through, you have a totally different perspective on life. You're more
Sure.
grateful. You're more grateful. You're more intentional about doing
Mm-hmm.
what you know you're supposed to be doing, right?
Exactly.
You're more
Mm-hmm.
intentional about helping someone else. You're more intentional about healing from your own trauma. And you're more
Mm-hmm.
intentional in seeing how you get to the other side of your pain and your hurt and your trauma.
Mm-hmm.
And you
It's true though.
start
You're right
and
about
you realize that there are some people who need to not be in your life, like how you got up and opened
Go.
that door and let that be out.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a true thing. This is
It's so true.
coming into the holidays is always a great time of reflection. As I always say, that coming into the holidays, going into the new year, it's always a great time of reflectiveness. It is when people do their business plans. It's when people do their books for the end of the year, right? You go get your physicals. You do all the things
Mhm.
that we do to celebrate the end of the year. Is the same thing you have to do in your life with your
Exactly.
spiritual being, right? Your
Mhm.
physical being and your mental being. You have to get those things in alignment. And I think the only way you
Exactly.
do that is when you have a thankful inventory. Right? And that's
Absolutely,
the
which is
thing.
true.
You have
Definitely.
a thankful
Yeah.
inventory. If you start to
That's
go
right.
down the list of all the things that have occurred in your life, right? In
Mhm.
this 19, 20 months, the mere fact that you're still here, right? You're still here, you're still standing, right? You are still walking and talking and breathing and living, as I said, with a roof, four walls, and a floor, right?
That's right.
You have health. You're able to walk, to hear, to eat, to you're clothed. It
Mhm.
reminds us of all the things that God says to us that we at times take for granted. That our
Mhm.
worrying about stuff, it doesn't change
It's true.
anything. It's
No,
not
it
going to change
doesn't. The outcome
anything.
is gonna be the outcome. Yeah, you worry
Right. The
yourself to death,
outcome is
and. Yeah,
right.
you can't. That's what I guess I was like, and I had to, change a lot of that. I mean, I definitely the glass has always been half full for me, but now
Yes.
it's like just full,
Right.
basically,
Right.
because I just had to get a whole new attitude about that, and because I don't want to find myself in that place again. So I
Right.
would think that I had so many things, so many more things I wanted to do,
Right.
and still definitely be here for my children. So it's like, yeah, and I think that maybe you have to go through that to realize that, some things are just not that serious. It's
Yeah.
okay, you know. I
Right.
do like, I just like for me, it could be like the most simplest things is being able to get dressed in the morning and
Mm-hmm.
not take every breath away from getting dressed and take me forever and a day. That I
Right.
got, I get my stamina back. Is it back 100%? No. But it's back, it's a whole different
Yes.
thing. It doesn't take me forever
Right.
to get myself together, like it did for a minute because I couldn't even walk up the stairs,
And more
things of that
importantly,
nature.
you have a totally different perspective
Exactly,
of
definitely. I
taking
mean, now
care of oneself, right?
Now that's the truth. That
Of
that is
taking
really
care of
true. That is
oneself,
like probably yeah,
letting things,
on
of
point for my
learning how
issues.
to
Yeah,
let things go, and to
exactly.
be very intentional of self-care. That's so
Exactly.
important.
Very intentional.
Self-care.
Mhm,
Learning how to
mhm.
say, you know what? It doesn't have to get done by Friday. And
That's
if it
right.
doesn't, is the world going to end? No.
Nope. Not at all. Not at all. The
So
world
it
goes on
is,
with or
or
without
every
you.
time we go through a traumatic experience or a life altering experience, it reminds us of the things to be so grateful for and thankful for. Peace is something that you cannot buy.
Mm. Oh my
I
God, you
don't care what
said it
size house
again.
you live in, what
No,
community you
nope,
live in, what
nope,
car you
nope.
drive, how many degrees are on your wall, how much money is in your bank account. Peace is not something you can buy. Because you know what? There are times in life when the car doesn't work, it has broken,
Mhm,
and you can't buy another one because there's no money in
mhm,
your bank account,
mhm,
right? There are times that the house in which you live is falling apart and you don't even want to be there yourself, but you don't have another option. There are times in
mhm,
life that the people that we are around and we thought that we needed them so badly in our life that you are praying God that you remove one of us,
mhm.
and not in death, just remove one of us.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no hurt, no pain,
Right.
but yeah,
And so
exactly. No, no, no.
it is a matter of being very intentional about taking care of oneself, being true to oneself, and working in your and walking in your gifts, right? And in
Oh, absolutely.
gratefulness and
Yes.
thankfulness. It really comes down to that. So
I know a long time my mother told me, she said, you cannot pay for peace. She said,
Mm,
like, peace is everything
mm,
to you. She said, I mean, when she told me, she said, when I had to leave my first husband, she said, oh my God, she said, I left everything.
mm-hmm.
And she said, you live in a box and you'll be happy at peace.
Yes,
And it's so true. It's so true. I mean, you and I both know people that are in situations that they just
yes,
won't leave because of all of the well, the material things. And it's like,
yes.
wow, and you can't take any of those things with you. I
Or
mean,
for
they're nice to have,
appearances.
but you can't get,
Or for
or for a parent.
appearances.
Like, yeah, you don't want to be attached to anything
Yeah.
like that. Now,
Yes.
I can't be, me personally, I can't do anything or be in anything for appearances or show, because it's written all over my face.
Yeah.
I don't
You
have
and
to
I
say a
both.
word.
We don't. We.
I
That's
know,
one thing we are not good at. Yeah. Listen. If it's
no, yeah.
happening, it's
I'll be a
all
bad
here.
poker player. Yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's written all over my face.
It's
Oh
like
Lord.
we and the mouth may say, "What's wrong?" Nothing. Yeah. No. But the face is like.
It's like, oh Lord,
The
really? That's how we
attitude
do
is
this?
like you were like, "Oh God, what happened?" Right.
Yeah,
But
it's really true. But people like, I don't know. I like coaching this young lady, and it's like, you know how it is with coaching. I mean, all you do is coach and help somebody, but
yes.
then they want to try to coach you. Yeah, but you came to
Right.
me, you know. But I'm trying to help you out of their space. But yeah, but it's a but. But could be a worse word. But it's really no buts. If
Yeah.
that's
There's
what you
really
want to do,
none.
I'm here to help you. I'm trying to help you get through that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so, but she's gonna butt me to death. Like, 'cause that's like when somebody's gonna apologize. I apologize to you, but well, you're not really apologizing
Rather,
because
yeah.
but
Because if you're
that's not a
justifying
problem.
your apology,
Exactly. That's a problem.
right.
That's not really
Yeah.
apology,
And really, there's a
But
difference between I'm sorry and I apologize. Apologizing means
sure.
I'm really not sure that I did anything wrong, right?
Yeah,
But to
exactly.
make you feel better, I
Mhm.
apologize.
Exactly.
Sorry is I know that I have done something to hurt, offend, or
Mhm.
mislead you. So I do
Mhm.
have to say I'm sorry, and then no explanation. Like sorry is a complete
Exactly.
sentence. Like no is a complete sentence. Sorry is a complete sentence.
It's so
And
true.
then you can
If
say
somebody says
I'm sorry for da 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 da.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
But as you said, if you say sorry, and then you go, I'm sorry that you felt yeah. That's not
Yeah, you're not
apology.
really
That's
sorry.
not a
You're just trying
sorry,
to
and that's
appease
not an
me.
apology.
Or
But
when people say I apologize, I say, what are you apologizing for?
yeah, yeah,
Like, so if, because you're gonna tell me you apologize, you need to tell me what you're apologizing for,
right, right.
and
Because
we're
you
gonna
have to
move
say, you
on with
have to
the
speak it too.
friendship.
They have to speak it.
Of course, because the reality is if they don't know, then they will continue to do it again if you allow
Mm-hmm.
them to.
Absolutely.
So then it becomes a circle, literally. We're not
Yes.
doing that either. I got off the merry-go-round a long time ago. Yeah, I don't even like them. They make me dizzy. You
Right.
know,
Right. I don't blame you.
seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to
Well,
be careful though. But be
well,
happy. It's
be
important.
happy. We want you all to have a blessed Thanksgiving. Really enjoy it. No, whatever you decide to do, if you're spending it with family and friends, or even if you're deciding to spend it alone at your own home by yourself, enjoy yourself. All right. Enjoy your time, your self-care. Take a moment to be really thankful, to do your thankful inventory, right? Create that list.
Absolutely.
And writing it down is always better than just thinking it in your head, because when you see it in
Mhm.
black and white, it really does remind you. And when you start to write, then you realize how many things that have happened in your life over this year and last year, and that you're still here, and how much you do have to be thankful for. So we really hope that you have a blessed Thanksgiving, a blessed, weekend, and like I said, enjoy yourself. And look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you after Thanksgiving. Steph, your closing remarks?
Yes. And just remember that you're never alone. You always have you and yourself, me, myself, and I. That's what
Mm,
you have.
mm-hmm.
And when you learn to just take all that in and enjoy all of that, then people want to be with you because you want to be
Right,
with yourself.
right.
Because if you feel the need for company and people always be with you, that becomes an issue. You have to really enjoy and like savor in your time alone and
Correct.
being by yourself.
Yes.
It's a beautiful space to be in. So some of us may be eating, Thanksgiving dinner by ourselves. That's okay. Or maybe we won't be eating turkey. Maybe we're just eating some Chinese food. I don't know.
Amen.
You know, it's
However
not,
you, however it pleases you.
hello, how it works for you. And then some of us don't celebrate Thanksgiving, that's
Yes.
okay too.
That's
But
okay.
then enjoy your day of rest.
Yes.
And hey, like I crawl up on the sofa in your family room and chill.
Right.
I can see that really good. That's what I'm gonna be doing on Friday. That's for sure. But
Yes,
yes, so just
absolutely.
enjoy and find peace and find happiness and be thankful and grateful for everything that you have. The fact that you're
Absolutely.
breathing, the fact that you have a phone or a computer or anything to listen to us on. That's like no, I
Amen.
don't have anything. You have a phone,
That's
a mini
right.
computer cost you
Amen.
about $700. You got something.
Amen.
That's for sure. It's the little things though. It really is. It's
Yes.
the little things, you know what I mean?
Being
I look at my
grateful for.
refrigerator. I'm like, God, thank me for the food in my refrigerator. I remember
Refrigerator.
one time it was like
Absolutely.
the food in my
Absolutely.
pantry.
Absolutely.
Really, you know what I mean? Because it
Absolutely.
didn't have to be there. I was like, oh
Didn't
my,
have
what we
to.
gotta eat? Now
Right.
he's not here now, but when he comes, there's food for you to eat.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Well, again, you all be blessed. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Share, share love, share peace, share joy. You can reach me at idolovecoaching@gmail.com. You can reach me on Spotify or on YouTube. And we're looking forward to seeing you all again soon. And Steph?
you can reach me at mymentor.life/Stephanie Deani Green. You can also reach me on Instagram. You can reach us on YouTube. You can reach us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. So we
So
thank you
thank you
all so
guys.
much for
Thank
joining
you
us
for
today.
watching us and enjoying.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we're so grateful and thankful for all of you. Have a
Yes,
blessed day.
it's our 33rd show.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I gotta go get my mammogram.
That's right. Self-care is important. We love you all so much.
Exactly.
Be blessed. Thank you.